This video is a guide to gluing your floor. The techniques are very similar if you're fitting rubber. For smaller rooms without any seams, it's possible to lay your floor without fully adhering. Use exactly the same fitting technique, but instead of fully gluing, just use a high-quality vinyl spray adhesive at the doorways and edges.
So once your floor is ready to go, obviously you've pulled back half the vinyl, so now you can start gluing out. I use an A2 trowel because it doesn't leave any glue trowel lines underneath.
Use the approved glue available on the Colour Flooring website. This is a water-based product, an acrylic glue. Always carefully read the instructions on the tub before you begin.
When you're gluing that, you'd like to try and do it as a big smooth sweep, so you're spreading it evenly over the whole floor, and you just keep working it back to yourself. Just working myself out so I can get to the next run. You need to get as close to the edge as possible when you're gluing it out. Just work it into the edge as close as you can do. Obviously, the tighter you get it to the edge, the easier the vinyl is going to take to the actual corners, so you haven't got any bits that are trying to lift up. If you do get some on the skirting, obviously just give it a wipe straight away while it's still wet. When it comes to meeting up with the old glue, now this side's already been glued out previously, so now we've pulled back the vinyl. Just carefully go up to the existing glue, but just make sure that you can see the glue that you're going up to so you don't get any dry spots. And what we tend to do, just to stop any sort of ridges or anything like that, is once we've glued out the whole section, we just lay in ever so slightly by about an inch or so, just so it's in the wet glue, but don't go too much further than an inch to stop any ridges forming. The common problem that people end up doing is thinking that glue's dry enough and then just putting the vinyl straight into the glue. You've got to wait till it's dry. You really need to wait until you can touch it and it doesn't transfer onto your hands. In a minute, once it's dried enough, I'll show you how you should be able to feel when it's ready to go. Okay, so when it comes to the gluing out, there is no set time. We've worked in places where the temperature's been so hot that it's gone off within 10 minutes of us gluing it out. And then we've worked in other places where we've been working in the cellar where it's taken an hour and a half to go off. So what you need to look out for is the colour change. It should go near on see-through. If you look down at this section here, this is probably going to be ready in about 5 minutes or so. But if you touch it, you can see that's hardly leaving any sort of glue on the back of my hand. So that's a good way to tell if it's ready to go. It will grab, but you just need to wait just that little bit longer because it's still slightly transferring onto the fingers. So give it about another 5 minutes and then it'll be ready to go. Now we've glued it out, we've waited around for a little while. Now you can see the colour difference. Maybe it might not show up on here, but when you're training it out, it's a lot yellower, and now it's gone a lot more see-through. Now I can touch that and nothing's coming off of my hand. Now you've probably got a window of when it's like this of around about 20 minutes. So basically just make sure you're sweeping off any of the bits at the back of the vinyl that you can see to begin with. Obviously the bit that's folded back will fold back in a minute and sweep that. So just give it a good sweep and sweep it away from the other bits of vinyl that you're going to be doing. You don't want to be sweeping it over to another bit of vinyl that you're going to be sweeping again. What I tend to do is just get some air underneath it, just to make it easier to slide. And once I've got to about there, I will just come up here, because it's been folded back on itself, sometimes it can cause a little crease. So I just push that in through the back, just to push that first bit in, and the rest of it should slide. We don't roller it just for the simple reason because the glue's gone off as much as it has, it'll grab instantly. So we just use a broom. You don't really need a roller. As you can see, I've already cut some points. That just makes it easier to lay flat when you're sliding it back in. What I tend to do now is just give it a little sweep, trying to putting some pressure down on the actual vinyl so it makes sure it bonds to the actual glue. Just give it a good hard push, and see this bubble that's just here will start to disappear and being pushed out to the edge. Just keep going over until you've completely got it out. Normally it's not normally a problem, but just in case you do get any, just keep working it out to the edges and you should have a nice smooth floor once you're done. Now when you come into this edge, try and angle the broom at a slight angle so you're sweeping into the actual vinyl, because you don't want to be sweeping anything into the glue, because obviously that's going to cause problems and cause little bumps underneath the actual vinyl. Once you've got it in position, you're ready to start fitting, but obviously we've got a big open area here, so we need to get all of these in position before we start cutting it in. But once you've got your normal, just a one sheet, if you've got one sheet or two sheets, you get them both in position and then you're ready to cut in. As soon as you're ready, start cutting. Obviously, if you see any areas like this, I don't know if you can see it, but it's slightly raised. All that is, it just needs pushing down, and once it's pushed down, it will grab instantly.